so we can begin our meeting. Faces we haven't seen in a while. Welcome back. And what beautiful sunshine we have out there. Wow. Good morning. My name is Alex Clark, and I will be your service leader today for our annual meeting, Vashon Island Unitarian Universalists. I use pronouns she and her. If you are visiting, this is a little bit of a different meeting. Please participate as you feel comfortable. You're invited to stay and introduce yourself in conversation following the service. Our congregation, VIUU, is committed to individual freedom of belief. We welcome diversity. Seek to promote a sense of community that fosters religion and enriches the spirit. We're mostly a lay-led community, strengthened and enriched by weaving together the volunteer contributions of members and friends. Our community is supported and guided by our minister, Reverend Victoria Poling. As we begin our service, please take a couple breaths and become fully present. I'll invite you to mute your telephone ringer, please. There'll be a couple times that I'll invite you to take breaths and to become present here today. Relax, bring your attention into this moment of communal reflecting and sharing. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional homelands of the Squamish Coast Salish Native people. The Puyallup people have lived on and stewarded these lands since the beginning of time and continue to do so today. We recognize that this land acknowledgement is one small step towards true allyship, and we commit to uplifting the voices, experiences, and the histories of the indigenous people of this land and beyond. I invite you to repeat after me. It is good. It is good. It is good to be. It is good to be. It is good to be here. It is good to be here. And it is good to be here together. It is good to be here together. Love it. Kim?
So here's an affirmation from our covenant of right relations. We honor our commitments. As individuals, we contribute time, energy, skills, and financial assets, participating in the mission, goals, and ministry of this congregation. We sustain these commitments even when we disagree with decisions or find ourselves in conflict with others. Together, we commit to building a strong foundation for VIUU's future. As a congregation, we will maintain our connection with the people and principles of the larger Unitarian Universalist mission and movement. We practice participatory governance. We adhere to transparent democratic processes. In decision-making, we seek consensus that honors both majority and minority views. As individual members of this congregation, we commit to understanding how our congregation works so that we can be informed and effective participants. I'd like to invite our Board Vice President, George Butler, and our Treasurer, Kirk Barker, forward our chalice lighting.
Let us light our chalices together, in person and online, with these words following our theme. May each breath remind us of the sacred rhythm of life, the pulse of creation, and the power we hold to shape the world around us. May we envision this moment, shared love, shared justice, and shared imagination. Imagination can be a tool of creativity, allowing individuals to envision new ideas and solutions. But it can also lead to fear by allowing the mind to dwell on potential negative outcomes or catastrophic scenarios. So as we light this chalice, let it be as a symbol of our faith. May we light this chalice, may our many sparks of creativity, imagination, and even hesitancy meet and merge in the communion of heart and hope for a reality where all things, living things, thrive. Let our decisions today be guided by respect, imagination, creativity for our beloved community, and beyond these walls.
Two chalices. So our opening words today are a meditation on hope and grief in a time of struggle. So as you feel comfortable, maybe with your eyes closed, maybe with them open, listen to the words and just breathe. This is by Alice Anachenka Nasiman. In a world so filled with brokenness and sorrow, it would be easy to lose ourselves in never-ending grief, to be choked by our outrage, to be paralyzed by the enormity of suffering, to feel our hearts squeezed tight with hopelessness. Instead, this morning, let us simply breathe together as we hold our hearts open, breathing in as our hearts fill with compassion, breathing out as we pray for healing in our world and in our lives. Breathing in, opening ourselves to the transforming power of love. Breathing out as we pray for peace in our world and in our lives. May we know our strength. May we be filled with courage. May our love flow from us into this world. Breathing in, we are the prayer. Breathing out, we are the healing. Breathing in, we are the love. Breathing out, we are the peace. Breathing in, we are the hope. Breathing out, we are the justice. May we know our strength. May we be filled with courage. May our love flow from us into this world. Amen. Blessed be, may it ever be so. We will begin this meeting with our joys and concerns. We'll pause the recording. Now we'll resume the recording. Runa, if you'll be so kind, and we'll go to our next order of business, which is our offertory. And as members and friends of the Vashon Island Unitarian Universalists, we commit to supporting our congregation. Financial resources help us pay speakers and staff, support our social justice programs, and maintain our building. Please support VIUU with your pledges and offerings so that we can continue to be a vital community. Listen to this. Since September, this congregation has engaged beyond our walls for peace, social and economic justice, freedom of belief, and protection of our planet and its inhabitants. We have contributed through our community support fund and our plate offerings every Sunday, $14,042 to island organizations. This week's offering goes towards our beloved community. Our greeters will now please come up. And as this is passed around, we will sing through twice. We Give Thanks, which is also on the inside cover of your hymnal. And it's called We Give Thanks. Okay? Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. So beautiful. Before we begin our annual meeting, I would like to hold a brief moment. Make sure. I would like Robbie Rohr and Ann Lewis to come forward. We're going to do a brief survey of our programs. They will lead us now.
I could hear the general excitement that was aroused when she said that. So yeah, sorry. So to tie it in, and then I'm going to hand it over to Anne. Just this is we're representing the programming committee, the Sunday Service Committee, and that's such a critical part of how our mission is accomplished. And there's so many different parts to that. You all have different needs and wants when you come, and you all have different styles. And one of the things that we strive to do is meet them, which is kind of a Herculean task sometimes. So we have designed a survey, which we did online and didn't get very many responses, and did in person and got 3 responses online.
3 responses.
3 responses total. we, so it kind of fits to do this before the annual meeting, just because this is how we go into the next year, is with your input telling us what we did, how we did with that, how you did with that, and what you like. So
And
we're,
we've locked the door.
yeah, you can't get out yet. So we're going to only take like, maybe 6 more minutes. We promise to make it fast, and we're going to give you all, I'm going to pass this and the pencils around while Ann starts, and we're asking you all just to fill out 1 page, both sides, not the whole thing, because we prioritize that. So thank you for your patience and whatever it is that lets us do this.
Just to remind you, we want to take a minute to put your minds back to the last 40 meetings that we've had. The Sunday Program Committee, and we're a small part of it, has the challenge of trying to present a balance and a variety and respond to many needs. So this committee has prepared 40 services this year with a range of speakers. Just to remind you, we had, of course, once a month, our regular minister, Victoria Polin. We also invited a number of ordained VIUU ministers who also provided a broader view and an outreach from our fellowship to the larger denomination. We also had a couple ministers from other faiths that also represented different points of view. Our social our social justice teams also invited a number of non-UU or non-clergy speakers. So you'll remember some of those. I won't read them all off. But we also had people from within our own fellowship. Some of our richer programs come from yourselves or ourselves as we come forward, the Transforming Mystery and Wonder and other groups. We did traditional UU services, such as This I Believe, a water ceremony, animal blessing, Christmas Eve, Easter, Pride, flower ceremony. And we, we guided our planning by the Soul Matters themes. And Soul Matters is available to all of us, and it's a, a wonderful resource. It's on the UU, Unitarian Universalist Association website. What we would like to know is, excuse me, is if you think back, how these services moved you. What, Vicki has more.
No, we don't. Here.
You don't have
What
more.
I'm going to ask is that anybody who is willing to commit to doing this online later would give one to somebody in the back, because it's lovely how many people are here, and we didn't prepare it that well. So thank you. So if you hand yours away, please, we will make sure that you get an opportunity to do it.
So briefly, what we would like to know breaks down to pretty simple questions, and that is, what opened your heart during our services? We want to give kudos to those programs that were particularly inspiring and challenging and provocative and comforting, all of those things that we look for in a service. So if you don't mind mentioning which of those moved you the most, the topics, the speakers, the music, what about it was especially meaningful to you? The second question really is, what could we have done to make it better? What was missing? What did you feel could have been strengthened? What would you like to see more of when we come here? That's the second page.
Second half of the
Second half of the second page. And also, of course, our committee, which is always looking for more volunteers. It is the most interesting committee, I believe. Well, we get to dig in pretty deep, as we're trying to respond and prepare all these services. And it's kind of, I believe, sort of the heart of what we do. But moving forward, we'd like to know where we have room for improvement. What suggestions would you make to make our services more meaningful and more engaging? So I hope you'll take just a minute. And I'm sorry that we're dumping this on you, but we need your help. Thank you.
So I'm sorry, one more piece. If the front side of that says content, and it has a list of ways that you can think about the services that we did. So the question is just like, how much of what do you want? So this could take a long time, and we don't have that. So we just really want to know, when you think about the balance that you want yourself when you come here, what would give it to you, more or less? more or less. Would you like to have lots of one and little of another, or whatever? And again, we're just doing this because we are so diverse, and we really don't know. We guess. So we're going to take about, it's just like 5 minutes, really, to let you fill stuff out. I know that's not much, but we don't want to take away from the annual meeting. So whatever you can do in that time, maybe when we would like them handed in today, because we're afraid people will go home and never bring them back. So, yeah. So thank you for indulging the committee. Yes, Gary.
Thank you for doing this, but I have to tell you that if there were a box that said carry on,
Yeah.
I would check it.
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get that, and I was sitting there thinking that, and then I went through, is there any other way?
I am in awe of what you are able to put together.
Okay,
And the energy.
okay. Hey, well, we didn't expect that. So what do you want to do? So Gary, can you promise to do them and bring it back? Okay, Kate's saying do it.
And while you're doing it, I'll make one more pitch, and that is, we do work hard to do this, and part of what we do is reflect, and we're going to have a retreat. So we're planning a retreat on June 12th. If you're interested in joining this team, or you'd like to just come and get some ideas, see what we do, or perhaps, dip your toes into participation, I hope you'll plan to come. It's going to be at our house. I don't know what time yet. Yes, Amy.
names on this?
It's up to you. No, not necessarily, no.
Put them when you're done.
Oh,
One of those chairs right over there. It's all stacked up.
Is anybody else really warm?
We can turn stuff down.
that's a good question. We can open the door.
Yeah, but people get
We're
out.
not locked in.
Oh, that's true. I know you had that in mind, Mary.
No, I can't get past Robin.
If you're done, you want to give it to me, I'll select it.
And they're asking where it is, where the survey is online. Was it in one of the,
It was in this newsletter.
it's in one of the past newsletters, there's a link.
Thank you, Robin.
So if you're ready, please bring your attention back. It's 10:20, and we want to try to get done in about 25 minutes with our annual meeting. So, Alex, I don't think it's your turn.
I was just gonna get papers, but
Okay, great. Yeah. So we'll pick up your papers at the end. And I'm Kim. I'm your VIUU president for another few minutes. And I always get corrected by Kate every single time, every utterance. Every utterance. So I would like to offer a blessing right now. So I have to roll my shoulders back. I hope you do too. Find that base of support with those sit bones and feet on the ground. May we be a blessing to one another today. May we remember that each one of us brings our hopes and struggles to this process. May we give one another grace to do our best. So I'd just like to talk briefly. Oliver Wendell Holmes says, "To reach the port of heaven, we must sail, sometimes with the wind, sometimes against it. But we must sail, not drift or lie at anchor. The thing that I've appreciated so much about working and being in this position with all of you is that we haven't been at anchor. We were adrift a few times. We've had conflicts. We've had a minister come in and take over some of the stuff. There's been some issues that we've worked through, but we weren't at anchor. We kept going. And I think the strength of that is in who you are as individuals and who we are collectively. And I honor just the foundation that the UU and VIUU has. I appreciate the board. We all bring different things to the table. Some of us bring head injuries and pig problems. Others bring really great expertise on finances and expertise about legal matters and expertise about dealing with minutia that some of us don't want to deal with. So when you add that together, you get a strong foundation. And today we will be continuing on and creating a stronger foundation for the years to come. So there's some people that have really done a stalwart job over the years and during my time. One of them is Catherine Sullivan. She is really a main artery to this organization, and I appreciate her. The entire Sunday Service Committee, that was the program committee, it's hard work to put together services and to find people, and people get sick, and ferries are late, and topics are weird, and it's like, how do you put that together and make it something palatable? And they do that. The hospitality and starting point leaders and Reverend Victoria bringing more information to us in small groups has been fabulous, and having coffee, cookies, and gluten-free stuff over there brings us together. Food unites us, and people have done a fabulous job. So we've had faithful pledgers. Some of you have been so faithful. Even when we've done the pledging in a different way every year, because I don't do anything the same. That's part of being a farmer and tending. You have to look and you have to say, do we need that? Or can we plant something different? Can we do it in a different way? And I've created some waves, but we kept sailing. To our new members, thank you for trusting. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting. Thank you for just coming and joining. So I only am going to do this really fast. A lot of stuff has happened in 3 years. We moved all the stuff out of the basement of Burton Church. We went through COVID. We kind of lost our young families and children. The sanctuary got painted. We threw some stuff away. We added some new chairs. We got these things that we thought were going to make the room warmer. They do, but they upped our electrical costs. I mean, things have happened that are sort of in the physical plant. Some other things have happened, hearts and minds. With Hearts and Minds, having a spiritual director in Reverend Victoria has been something that I think brought the keel a little straighter so we can go faster through some of the things that we wanted to be involved in. Because if you take 1/4 of the Sunday Service Committee's job and hand it to someone that you're paying, it helps you to be able to put that energy into other things. And there was some hesitancy about that, but we made it, so thank you. There's a lot more stuff that I could read. You helped me, and it's been very nice. Thanks. So, yeah, I'm sorry. My dad, I think I've told you this a million times, gladders and sadders get mixed up. So, anyway, Runa, do we have a quorum?
We have such an abundantly unattended meeting here.
Great. That's so great. So I'd like to call this meeting to order. And Kate O'Hare is going to come forward and present the minutes from the meeting in 2024.
Okay. First question is, I could read the entire thing. There were a couple of copies in the back for people who like to look at this in detail. If I have the permission of the group, I will give the condensed version of last year. That we did have some bylaws changes. We clarified what it meant to be inactive. That is, to be active, you had to be involved and/or contribute financially. So that was changed last year in the bylaws. I think we officially put into the bylaws that it's routine business to elect nominating committee members if they're due to be elected. We changed the description of board terms. There were still 2-year terms, but we worked harder on getting them staggered so that the nominating committee could assign somebody a 1-year term or a 2-year term to try to make sure we didn't have everybody going off the board simultaneously. We did say that if an at-large member, if there was a position open for an officer, that someone could move into that position without resigning from the board and then getting reelected to the board, which is the way it had been written. You could be shifted and hold that position for the duration of your term. And then we had a clarification on the purpose of the Committee on Ministry. So that's what we did. And then we did what we're supposed to do. We elected nominating committee members. We elected a president, vice president, and member at large. And that's about it. So anybody want a clarification of that? If not, yes, ma'am.
Is there some place online where we can read this?
Sure. Yeah, and in fact, there are printed copies, a couple floating around. So if you want a copy to study, that's just fine.
Kate,
Melvin.
would you just say the questions out loud with the microphone so people on Zoom can hear?
Oh, Judy wants to know whether there's some place she can actually read this, and the answer is yes. It is available online, but you probably just want a printed copy. And Melvin was about to ask something.
It's also important that we passed a budget last year.
Oh, yes. Yes, we did pass a budget. Thank you, Melvin. I was taking that for granted, but we did pass a balanced budget.
Thank you. So I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any more questions about it? Because we did also pass that we used the democratic rules of order.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
I left that out too, probably. Should have read it all to you.
That's okay. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those who are voting proxy, if you're voting for a proxy, we're good. Do we need to count?
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks, Kate. So Kate will be back up here in just a second, but committee reports, you have the link in the newsletter and on the website for the committee reports. And I would like you to stand up if you are on any committee here at VIUU. Please stand. Now we clap. Very good. Thank you so much. Thanks. So what's really important about this upstanding group of very fine people is that they could use your imagination and your creativity. Please consider joining a committee or switching to a new committee. It's pretty fun. You'll find committee reports attached, and so please check those out. The stronger our committees are, the stronger our programs are. Kate's going to now come forward with the bylaws changes. Correct.
All right, this year, the board is proposing a bylaws change which will change the current 2-year terms for board, including officers, to 3-year terms. The rationale is that it takes about a year for a new board member to figure out what's going on. So the first year is a bit of a blur, and it's hard for them to participate. And that only leaves them 1 year in which to be active on the board. It's also very hard for us to keep the terms staggered. Somehow it just doesn't work. So for example, this year, there are 5 board members, 4 officers are all completing terms this year. So it's very hard to assure some kind of continuity on the board. So the proposal is to change the term for all board members, including the officers, from a 2-year term to a 3-year term. We have rewritten the description of how to stagger things. So it will say, to improve continuity, the nominating committee shall adjust board terms for newly elected board members annually as necessary to assure that the terms of approximately 1/3 of officers and approximately 1/3 of at-large members, new and old, will expire each year. If necessary, the nominating committee will selectively shorten new board terms to 2 years to ensure the staggering of terms. In other words, they can give the standard 3-year term, or they could shorten it to a 2-year term. Terms of board members already elected will not be altered. The number of terms that someone can serve will still be 2, but those are 2 3-year terms, so a maximum of 6 years on the board consecutively, after which, under our bylaws, you need to rotate off the board for a minimum of 1 year, and then you're eligible to come back. So that is the proposal that the board is putting forward. 3-year terms, 2-term limit, meaning 6 consecutive years. And the nominating committee will again be able to make some of the terms a little bit shorter to try to not have everybody quit the board at the same time. Questions on that? Alex?
Hold on. I have a microphone for you. People at home can hear you, especially if it's a long question.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, if we're changing from 2-year terms to 3-year terms, is it possible that somebody who is on the board can choose their terms to be 2 years or 3 years? I mean, of course, there will be help from the nominating committee, but are 2-year terms totally gone? Are they all going to be 3-year, or is there going to be a mix?
The standard term will be 3 years. People can always refuse to serve that amount. The nominating committee will, in assigning 2 versus 3-year terms, presumably take into account the preferences of the people involved. So if you have somebody who's willing to serve 3 years and somebody who only wants to serve 2, we hope you will give the 3-year term to the 3-year person and the 2-year term to the 2-year person. But
Good. That's what I thought. Okay.
yes,
Thank
we expect the nominating committee to use their good sense in figuring out what their nomination is. Melvin?
Yeah, Melvin Mackey. Is this working okay? In order to vote on this, we need some more information. The bylaws require that we have a majority of all members or 2/3 of the quorum count, whichever is larger. And we have not received the quorum count. So we need to...
We are golden, Melvin. We have 61 members as of this date. We have 56 who are present in person, by proxy, or on Zoom.
56.
56, and we need 2/3 of those present in order to pass an important decision, such as a bylaws change.
Yeah, whichever is greater.
Which is 38 people. So
Okay.
if 38 people of the 56
Thank you.
active vote in favor, it will pass.
Oh, there's a, go ahead.
Yes, there you go.
Gary Preston. As a prospective nominating committee member, I am not prepared to negotiate one person at a time, 2 years, 3 years. It's a 3-year term. If you resign after 2, that's your choice. But keep in mind that the term specified is 3. I'd also like to offer a friendly amendment, and that is, you'll notice that this proposition doesn't solve our treasurer problem, which presently is our present treasurer is term limited. And we are a corporation in the eyes of the state. And if we don't either have a new candidate or change the bylaws, we will have someone on the bank account and managing our finances who is not our treasurer. That doesn't pass the sniff test. And I would offer that we would amend your proposition to include, except the treasurer, whose term may be extended until the nominating committee identifies a candidate. We may not look very hard, but that would allow our bylaws to match what we're doing. And if we're not doing what our bylaws say, we're out of compliance with the law. As chair of the finance committee, I will tell you that that's not good.
Correct. And so we have assumed that if the bylaws proposal does not pass, then we do not have a candidate for treasurer, because Kirk has already served 4 years. He's willing to stay on the board for an additional 2 years, but he would not be eligible under our bylaws, so we would need a nomination from the floor if the bylaws does not pass.
So
If the bylaws do pass, then Kirk has accepted a position as treasurer for an additional 2 years.
So his term situation would be accommodated by this bylaws change.
That is correct.
All right.
So
Well,
therefore, once we know whether this passed or not, then we'll know what we're presenting.
All right. Good enough. I will just, for historical purposes, we have had in the past, I mean, I've been here for 40 years, so the Gardner Perry III served as treasurer ad infinitum because of this problem. And we actually had bylaws that accommodated that. So if we run into this again, we may want to accommodate it by a bylaws change that extends the term of the treasurer only as necessary, for all the reasons that you've already identified. It takes a while to get grounded. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary, for the history and for clarifying that. That was good. So I'd like to, yes, Melvin?
Back to Melvin.
I'm going to speak against this bylaw change, and I think the purpose of this bylaw change is absolutely wonderful. I think we do have a problem that needs to be solved, and I congratulate the board for trying to make a good solution. My concern with it is that if you're asking me to take a board position under these new bylaws, you're asking me to take a board position for 3 years and probably for 6 years. I think it's going to be really hard to find people who are willing to commit to such a large amount of time. And I think this, instead of asking people to take a 3-year term, which is pretty long, and then take another 3-year term, this could also be solved by just changing the number of terms that are allowed. 2-year terms could be renewed 3 times instead of 2 times. So you'd have a possibility of still doing the 6 years, but you're volunteering for 2 years, and then if you want to continue, you go 4. If you want to continue and you still have good things you want to do, you can go to 6 years. And I think that's more likely to get people to volunteer to be on the board. Because I think 3 years followed by 3 years, it's going to be kind of hard to get those positions filled. So I'm going to vote against this motion.
Thank you. Thank you.
3 years is intimidating. If you vote for this, people will not run. We will be calling.
Thank you for your hard work on this. I'm wondering if you could just explain to us again how the nominating committee is formed, because this is giving those people a lot of responsibility.
Under our bylaws, the nominating committee is voted on by the congregation at the annual meeting. They have 2-year terms. The nominating committee's job is to both nominate their replacements and also to nominate other positions that are open, specifically the board terms. So the only 2 things.
Names the next, or recruits the next month.
Correct. The current, there are 2-year terms, so we only elect nominating committee members in alternate years generally. However, they do select their successors.
Okay, Donna, you're up.
I'm going to ask Gary, would an alternative to the proposed change, could it be to change only the term of the treasurer or extend that ability to serve to 6 years, whatever, and keep all of the other stuff in the flexibility that the nominating committee has and so forth to stagger terms, keep that in there, and then consider this 3-year term some other time, and just deal with it for what, I mean, I believe, I've been treasurer of organizations, grannies, and for years, and I know how difficult it is to recruit the treasurer. And so my sense is that this change is substantially because of the difficulty to recruit treasurers. So would it solve the issue to just, okay, so there are 2 issues then, the staggered terms and the treasurer. Is there a different way to do this? Maybe do one part of it this year, and I'm just trying to seek a solution.
Responding to that, we did try last year to get the term staggered, but it was totally unsuccessful. So as I say, 4 out of 5 board members rotate off this year. Some of them are eligible for re-election, some are not. So we've gone through several different versions of how do we do this, and hasn't seemed to work. My personal opinion is that the advantage of a 3-year term is it provides stability, in part because people come in with a little bit longer expectation, so we don't spend as much time saying, I don't know if I'll run next year or not run next year. That makes it a little hard to form a solid working group when you sort of are always feeling you're not sure who's part of the team and who's not. So I think it would be better, obviously, if we had a longer term, and the fact that the nominating committee can make some people 2-year and some people 3-year, if necessary, if that gets us staggered properly, will allow people to have some preference as to how long they're willing to serve. We did not, as we wrote it, allow anybody to be put into a 1-year term because that just seemed too short.
I would, the notion that we're going to negotiate with potential candidates is not, I don't think is going to fly. I mean, if someone...
I think it's not going to fly for you, but I think that there's freedom here for people whose life situation changes or who want to do it.
That's what resignations are.
That's exactly right. And so I feel like we just need to move forward. The board, Kate, has invested a lot of time in this, and part of it was to encourage Kirk to be able to keep the position, which we have all valued a ton. And our budget has grown substantially, and his stewardship has been amazing. So, you know, part of it is we're changing the bylaws to give the golden crown to this treasurer, but it feels like the right thing to do in this moment. And so I think the nominating committee, yep, you're going to have to talk to people, but people know, any of you out here know, you serve as you are able. And sometimes it's for 10 minutes and sometimes it'll be 6 years. Yes, Bob. Okay.
Well, I just want to speak in favor of the proposal that the board's come up with, because I think that just what you're saying, Kim, the fact that there's a way out for life changes, you're not held in chains, and none of us know circumstance changes. So the fact that someone might step up for a 3-year term and then be unable to fulfill it because of family responsibilities or their own personal life changes, I think is wonderful. And also, that can put the responsibility on that person leaving to kind of be a freelance nominating committee of one. Okay, I have to step aside for whatever reason. Now I can talk to people about it and maybe
Thank you.
cultivate
Yeah,
someone new.
good point. And now Bob?
Hi, thanks, yes, yeah. If this is to pass, the treasurer's position would only be extended 1 extra year, right?
Correct.
It'd be 3 years instead of 2 years. He's in his second year, so it'd be one more year.
He's completed 4 years, which is why he has already completed 2 two-year terms, so he is term limited based on having completed 2 terms. He is eligible for an additional 2 years because this says 2 3-year terms or a total of 6 years. That was written in to allow for the fact that we're doing a transition, and we will always have some people who had a short term. So he is eligible for 2 additional years.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. He's already done 1 term of 2 years. So his second
done-
term would be extended 1 year, but you can't make it retroactive for 6 years.
He's done 4 years so far.
He's done 2 years, and he's on his second year of
He
his
is
second
completing,
term.
as of June 30th, he will be completing his second 2-year term, a total of 4 years, which is why he's term limited. The current bylaws say you can serve 2 terms.
But if you're changing the term to 3 years, that would only be for this current term.
That's not how the proposal was written, no. It says 6 years.
But it's change. It's a new change. That's not retroactive. You're not grandfathering that in for everybody. 6 years.
Yes.
Because they were.
The change will be the maximum time anybody can serve on the board under this bylaw revision would be 6 consecutive years.
Right, moving
So
forward. So he can't.
Right,
He's not,
so from today, he could serve more time until he's hit his 6 years.
no, his second term would be extended 3 years. Yeah, I mean, he's already done his 2 years. So the next one is 2 years, and you're going to extend that one 3 year or another year. That's how it's written, or a 3-year term.
So my friends, this is when we see the sausage, and I can't eat meat, so yes, Judy.
I think this has been briefly mentioned before, but many corporations, the treasurer is not a member of the board. And
Right, and many corporations hire an accountant who is not a member of the board as well.
Yeah, and
that
so, I
meets the
mean,
state
that would be one
guideline.
way to keep our wonderful treasurer without worrying about this, but anyway.
We're not going to entertain that today. We're not
All right.
removing the treasurer from our slate of board. Yes, go ahead there. Back here, Vicky.
I would just like to add that I am headed into my 3rd year of being on the Committee on Ministry. And I feel honored to be going into my 3rd year. Some of these committees are so precious after you've been involved with them. That's 3 years. I mean, it's wonderful.
Right, so this is about board members and board officers. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Lifetime memberships are good for some things. I would like to move forward with this if we can. So I'll entertain a motion that we accept the bylaws change as written regarding 2-year terms. Do I have a second? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? We need to count for this vote. So if you're voting for yourself in the affirmative, raise 1 hand. If you're voting for proxy, you'll need to raise 2 hands. Go ahead. I'm taking this side. Yes, for the affirmative, yes. I had 22. And, okay, and so how many in the negative, nays? Four. And how many pardon me, abstention? Okay. So we have 50 in the affirmative, 3 in nays, and 1 abstention. So it passes. Thank you very much. 53 and 1. We needed 38. All right. So now we have a slate of nominees for board members. Sure. I'll go ahead. This year's nominated committee, Alex Clark and Earl Gott, have made the following nominations. The new nominating committee members are Julie Lakey and Gary Preston. We need a third member. Is there a nomination from the floor? Would someone like to be on the nominated committee after you've just heard how much fun it is? Okay, anybody sleeping that will nominate?
Who isn't here?
Yeah, who isn't here? Let's nominate.
Sylvia.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Kirk. Okay. So I'd like to call for a vote on the nominating committee of Julie and Gary, and we'll try to find a third person at some point. All those in favor of those two say aye or raise your hand. No? Abstain? Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you. Woohoo! Here are the nominees for board members and officers under the new bylaws with 2-year terms. Robbie Rohr. Oh, Lord. I said 2-year terms. It's 3 2-year terms. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Robbie Rohr for 2 years from 2025 through 2027. Vice President will be George Butler. He has a 1-year term coming up. Kirk, you can be nominated now if someone would nominate him from the floor. Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. Kirk has been nominated from the floor.
George Butler will be, it'll be the second line.
One Adam, 12C, the man. Okay, here we go. This will be better. Robbie Rohr for 2 years. George Butler gets a 3-year. Kirk, thank you for the nomination. He gets the 2-year. Kate is doing 3 years. The member at large, Alex Clark, 3 years, and member at large is Marilee Runyon, 2 years. Our Jessica Wesh is not up for election. She'll continue her term for another year. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Good. I'd like to call for a vote on those board members and officers. All in favor of endorsing that? Aye. Aye. Great. Thanks so much. Thank you all, board members. Thank you all who are willing to serve. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Very much. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you. All right.
In the name of love. No, can't proceed. We have a surprise.
Wait. We have the budget.
We'll do the surprise first. Then another surprise after.
For putting up with 3 years of our nonsense. Online roll. A gift from us to Kim.
We want to see it.
And Sylvia created it.
Ah, it's a bunny.
You have to promise to feed it every day.
Right. It's a candle. Yay, thank you so much.
And I will repeat that Kim has put in 4 years, not 3. So she's completed two-year terms, 4 years with us all. When Kim was originally elected, she had agreed to be a co-president with another member who immediately resigned, leaving her totally in charge of everything. Adrift in the sea. She came in the middle of COVID when we were still doing everything online on Zoom. And so the program committee, which I was on at the time, harassed her, if not weekly, is monthly, about when we were going to come back and what the plan was. And she did shepherd us through the end of the isolation period and the reopening and feng shuiing the Lewis Hall for our return. Kim did serve as president when we decided to go ahead and have a quarter-time minister, which we had not had for some years. And that has been, I think, a tremendous benefit to VIUU. And it was quite lovely. Kim has, as she says, rearranged the pledging regularly, but has been remarkably effective in doing this. She has really solidified our budget, moved us from a very wobbly $50-something thousand budget at the end of COVID to our current $90-something thousand budget, both supporting a minister, and also it's really been Kim's vision behind the money that we're contributing to the community now. So our donations have risen. I suspect that's part of Kim's influence on the monthly community offerings. We had $6,500 in the budget last year for bigger gifts to community groups on Vashon, and our budget should support that again this year. So Kim has done a really remarkable job in terms of increasing our connection to the community. Congratulations, Kim.
Miss Kimback, can I ask you, will you run for mayor of that?
No, but my lamb Valencia might. Yeah. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much, and thank you for believing in this organization. And now let's talk money.
The budget. We aren't going to show it up on the screen. Found that out this morning. But it's available online. And yeah, Runa, thank you very much. Have a couple copies. Those need to be amended, though, from what we talked about. The current budget, the correct budget will be online if you want to check it out. I'm just going to give the highlights and maybe enough information to vote on it. So, first off, it's a balanced budget. It's balanced. In fact, what drives the budget, as you guys know, I'm sure you do, the pledge amounts. We had a hefty pledge goal of $92,088, which we met. Thanks to your generosity, really appreciate that. And have come to find out we've exceeded it. And driving here from the house on the west side, I go, oh my God, I need to amend the budget and show the increase in the budget. No, we're going to keep it a balanced budget, but we do have a nice buffer. So that is great, and I thank you all stepping up. So let's go to the income. The highlight is we've moved from last year's budget to the coming year's budget. Service collections, plate collections coming in, and this doesn't really count that the amount of money from the plate collections that goes out to the community. That shows up in below the budget. We went from 4,500 last year to 6,050. We had, what impacts the budget this year too, is we had a generous gift and also a grant for our tech. And we received the money in last year, and I had to roll it over into this year's budget. So that was $10,000 that we're going to use to help out with the tech work. Thriftway receipts, I encourage you all to keep those coming in. That's $1,200 this year. That's added to the budget, minimal amount of interest. So with the $92,088 in pledge total, our budget is actually, with the 10,000, to $109,758. Yeah, which for our community, our size, is phenomenal, I think. Now, the expenses. I'm looking. We have as an expense, again, the Community Support Fund, where we cut a couple checks, one to Senior Center for the Bluebird Transportation. That was just done recently, and then VYFS received the other half, $3,200. We have our annual UUA program fund dues. Rent is, we haven't really negotiated or met with BCC yet. They kind of stalled it, but I've set the rent amount. We're paying $1,320 a month for rent now, and I kept it the same. Hopefully, the new contract will reflect that. Utilities have increased. We made some work on the lighting to help save us some expense there. IT, that expense, which is offset by the 10,000 coming in. Salary increases. The payroll is going to increase, and you guys are supporting that through your pledges for the minister and for our, Runa, our administrator, who deserves every frickin' penny that she gets. Yes. Kate, where are you? Yeah, 30%. Yeah, that's what we budgeted for. Yeah. And all those other expenses with that. Yeah. Newspaper. So actually, moving along, the administrative expense is $94,613. Committee expenses, they relatively remain the same. Program they've requested more money, and we said, yeah, because they bring people in from outside. Music, we pay our music folks pretty well. So the committee expenses is $15,145. So the total expenses, $109,758, matches with the income coming in. That's it. You guys have any questions? That's all. If you want to look at the fine items.
Don't we have to pass it?
What's that?
Don't we have to pass it?
Yeah, why don't you?
Yeah, I would like to entertain a motion that we pass the budget for 25-26. Thank you. Is it seconded? Thank you. It's been moved. Yes.
The budget is an expression of our goals.
Correct.
The budget is an expression of our goals, and absent a vision statement, which in past boards have provided even 3-year vision statements that helps us guide the budget. And if you haven't noticed, we're outgrowing this space. And as you heard, we have to dicker with the landlord about who's going to fill the potholes and who gets to park where. And that's one thing. And if our major commitment to the community is to exist, we need to give some thought to how we intend to do that.
Thank you. I think that's a good point.
The second
and
point
I would
is,
like the
you'll
board
see-
to consider
before,
that.
Pardon me.
Yes.
Before we continue, you'll notice that there are no young families here. And
Gary, I'm going to say I don't
the budget
want to
should
entertain
include
this now.
I
We have RE in the budget, We have an expectation that we will attract young families.
How?
We haven't. I wish you would come to a board meeting. It'd be great, because that's one of the things we do with the minister, is ask for those kind of suggestions.
Great.
We put in for a grant and got a grant to run a summer program 2 years ago, and we didn't have any families sign up for it, because it's not what's happening in churches worldwide now. There's a change.
Well, we are in the bluest section of the bluest state.
And churches are losing families.
My daughter lives in Kashmir, which is mega country, and now goes to, because she was raised in this congregation, as all three of my kids were, and they go to the East Wenatchee UU. And they're no bigger than we are, and have a building and RE and a future. So we want, if we intend to have a future, we need to outline what that will look like.
Yes,
Thank you.
and there has been some discussion about goals, and I was criticized a lot about goals, because when I came in, which was before COVID and before the shutdown, there was some conflict that had happened in this congregation. Then we had COVID, then we had loss of families, then we come back into the building, and my goal was that we get the budget above $100,000. Did anyone ask me about that goal? No. But did I look out here and see the generosity of this community? Yes. Did I know what it took from my past experience on other boards? It takes leadership. But in a lay-led community, it just doesn't take one single board member. It takes connection to the bigger organization, and we did that, and it's been positive. And I believe what Gary's asking about a building growing out of our space, that is something that I've thought about. And at 3 a.m, this tax lot is separate from Burton Church's tax lot. Did I have a realtor come and look at this tax lot? I did. Because up here, how cool it would be to use this foundation, build this building up another story, and come in, if you're ADA, into this building up here, and have this be the fellowship hall down here with that little tiny elevator. Yep, Kimmy thinks about that stuff. But we get so caught up in some of that heater doesn't work, the plumbing's all screwed up, can you get the potholes fixed? You don't get sometimes to bring your gifts and put them on the altar. So I feel like Gary's suggestions are good. It's true we're moving beyond our space, but that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to grow. We're supposed to have the walls push out, and we can do it. There is a motion on the floor, and it's been seconded. All those in favor of the budget for 25-26? Opposed? Abstain? Okay. Robbie had to leave? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So before I adjourn this meeting, I just once again like to really thank you from the bottom of my heart and my soul and the soles of my feet. And Robbie and I were going to do a final reading, but she has another commitment, which is the way we want our lives to be. We want to be committed to justice and freedom. She's going to go learn about Jewish accompaniment at the center. So anyway, big breath in and breath out. Beloved, we hold our fear together. We honor our rage and devastation and grief. We hold one another ferociously, tenderly, faithfully, and then we will move deliberately. We will invest in trust. We will claim joy. We will claim rest, and we will claim sustenance. We will focus our efforts and abandon distractions. We will create safe harbor for those in danger. We will leverage our resources. We will sharpen our skills and our analysis. We will act as if no person is disposable. We will refuse the politics of division and despair. We will seek the wisdom of elders and of history. We will weave deeper connections within our community and with our neighbors. We will create the conditions of possibility for thriving and liberation. Amen. And now.
Yeah. We're going to extinguish the chalice. I'm going to provide this reading. Yeah, that's good. Teamwork, folks. It's entitled "The Work We Share" by Krista Taves. It is our work, shared with each other in covenant, that creates and sustains this beloved community. We extinguish this chalice, but its light lives on in the directions we have chosen today. The light of this faith lives on in us, together, in our hearts, minds, bodies, and spirits. Amen. Blessed be. And it just occurred to me, I said, we need each other, so we come to this place. Thank you.
It's all in the hand. Thank you to the board. Thank you, Runa, for participating in today's. Thank you for all of you for participating in today's service and annual meeting. We will have refreshments following our announcements, and we would love for everybody to go and enjoy themselves and connect. But our announcements are just our last little bit. If you have one shared to VIUU activity, please come up and share.